What's up, summoners? King Blair here. Today, we're going to be talking about the current banner hero, Tamarin and Melissa. We did talk about Luna last week, and tonight I will be streaming later on, trying different builds on her and trying her in different content that you guys want me to see. So make sure to tune in. If you do miss the stream, though, it always is posted as a video, and you can go back and watch it. I'll try to see if I can get in there and put some timestamps, but we'll see depending on the time that you watch the video. But if you do like the video and are excited for the stream and all the different stuff we have planned, make sure you like, subscribe, and join the Discord. All right, enough about that. Let's get right into it. So you guys know I love to start these with some quick summaries of the unit before we actually go deep dive into the kit and whether or not you should pull. So right off the bat, you have to realize though, we just came off of Luna being unlimited. There's going to be a new unit most likely next week, or there might be one more filler and then another unit, right? So just keep in mind that there are going to be new units coming out. We don't know which ones yet, but I will tell you though, Tamarin for early game is kind of a must pull. So if you're an early game player or a mid game player, Tamarin is insane. Even for late game players, if you have an Iseria Tamarin is one of the best arena offenses in the game, right? So if you have an Iseria, Tama is a no-brainer, right? Because Tamarin is the queen of PvE. She is the queen of PvE content. She does good in so much content. Abyss, Raid, Asimak, Hunt. She can also work in Golem. She just does everything, right? She's just an amazing PvE unit. Her value is insane, right? You will be getting value out of your Tamarin. I use my Tamarin in PvE to this day. On the other hand, Melissa is a niche Rylak counter, and it can work in a cleave team pretty well. So a lot of people do like Melissa. I do have Melissa. I did have her built, and I did make a full video. So I won't go as in-depth because I do have a full guide out on Melissa. There is one thing I will have to correct that I will correct on this video, and that is going to be the speed build. It's more popular than I expected it to be, so I will talk about it in this video as well. But go watch and check out the Melissa full guide video. Put a lot of time into it, and it'll answer all your questions that you could have. So we'll quickly go over Melissa. But all right, enough about that. So essentially, Tamarin, you should probably be pulling for. Melissa, up to you. Does pretty good. Really good against Rylak if you have a cleave team, right? So that's the big idea. Can also work by herself if you build it really fast. Not necessarily a must pull, just a solid unit that has a pretty good niche, right? So all right, let's look at them, and then let's look at in-depth for their kits. So first, we will have Tamarin, who I felt like I've talked about very recently in this channel. But as far as stats, she has not the best base stats. I'm going to be honest with you. Her base stats are pretty atrocious. It's just really bad. Like, the base stats are terrible, right? So she has no attack, has no health. Her speed is like average. Her defense, it's like okay. It's decent, right? And then has no crit rate, no crit damage, no dual attack chance, no nothing. Like, she has terrible base stats, and the only other unit that I know that shares the similar stat line is DJ Besar. Her base stats are absolutely atrocious, but she makes up for it in an amazing kit, and that's what makes her the queen of PvE. She is the queen of PvE. She also does awaken into health percentage, but she doesn't get as much out of it because her health is so low, right? So you're getting that imprint is not going to help you as much versus if you keep it at the attack percentage, because then if you run her as a PvP Tama, you can actually make her work. And that combo, you do need Isa Tama. But all right, let's look at the kit. And let's look at the designs. Very unique character. Kind of sad that they haven't released another unit kind of like this one, because I think the kit is really fun, but it makes sense why they didn't. So terrible base stats. Okay imprint for the team. Why is she the queen of PvE? Well, it's because she has two kits put into one. What do I mean by that? She has a base form and she has an idle form, and the idle form is stacked. So S1, regular attack, recovers ally with the lowest health, and the recovery is proportionate to the ally's health, so it doesn't matter if you have her high health or not, it'll do about the same, right? So that's our S1 base form, or Tama form, and that's the one we'll talk about. One thing to note, I do want to say now, make sure you build your Tamas with flat health. Like for rings and for necks, give her flat health, because she benefits more from flat health, ring, and neck with HP percentage substats than she does from HP percentage rings and necks. Just know that, right? I think I have to say that. She's one of those rare characters. But okay, let's go back to the kit. So the S1, nice to heal. Pretty basic, right? Just heals lowest ally, reduces the skill cooldown of her S3 by 1 turn, and this skill does start on full cooldown, right? So it does start with 8 turns of cooldown, which is pretty long. But you'll see why. Then comes the S2. This one is just a really solid AoE heal, right? It's not like Destina levels of huge. It's not like it doesn't add anything. It doesn't have any buffs. It's pretty basic. It's just a nice AoE heal that is based off of your health for this one. So this one is based off to the allies. So if they're a tank, it will heal a lot more. If they're squishy, this one is based on your health. So if you have your Tama having more health, that's better. And that's it. That's base Tama, right? Pretty basic. You'd be like, okay, King, I haven't seen anything crazy. Why is she the queen of PvE? Well, that comes with the S3. This S3 is absolutely bonkers. So it first transforms her into her idol form for 3 turns, right? So that's what you're trying to get down with this S1. You're trying to lower to get to your idol form. And when you go onto idol form, let's look. I didn't show the S2 animation. It's actually really pretty. She has really pretty animations. So the idol form, when you go into idol form, you cleanse your party of all debuffs. You heal your inflicted on all eyes and recovers your health by quite a bit and grants you an extra turn. So essentially, it's an AoE cleanse, right? Amazing. That's super solid, right? It's on an 8-turn cooldown, but when you realize you're using S1 pretty often, it's essentially 4 turns, right? It's like a 4-ish turn cooldown move because when you use S1, you're lowering that by 1 turn, and if you dual attack, it goes down even faster. So AoE cleanse that turns her into idol form, heals herself, and then gives her the extra turn, and you have this idol form for 3 turns. What do you get from this idol form? The S2 is so good for everything. It's an AoE attack buff that also heals and also pushes you up by 50%. Y'all, this almost caps out some heroes, right? It's a lot of health, and it's based off of your max health, which means it's really good for your squishy units because you'll be able to heal them more since it's based off of your health. So you go into this, you climax, and it's on a 2-turn cooldown. Climax is on a 2-turn cooldown. So you use this, you push yourself up by 50%. That's almost half a turn, and you're almost there, and you give attack buff. That's insane. And a massive heal. So massive heal, attack buff, 50% combat readiness boosting. It's the highest CR push besides Oxlots. AoE CR boost, it is the highest in the game, right? So pretty awesome. Then there's the S1, which is one of the reasons she's so good for Raid and so good for Abyss. It's an AoE strip. Think about that. An AoE strip. This is insane, dude. Like, attacks all enemies, dispels all buffs, and dual attacks with the highest attack, which allows you to do some dummy stuff and combos. This skill, y'all, it's insane. You would have to see it. Just look up videos on how broken Tama is. She's everywhere in PvE. She's in Abyss, she's in Raid, she's everywhere. She is the best PvE unit because of this idol form, how strong it is. Because you're pushing up by 50%, you're giving yourself attack buff, and you're able to do S2, S1, AoE strip. Not a lot of characters have that. You could just do 3 AoE strips back to back. And you're dual attacking with the highest attack ally. You just have so much support that it's just crazy. And then you're able to do another big heal with another 50% push with another heal. The 50% combat readiness push is insane. It just gives you so much advantage, and the fact that it gives you attack buff is just icing on the cake. So massive CR push, attack buff, and then you can go into a full team dispel, attacking with your highest attack ally. This is why Tamarine does also have a PvP presence, particularly in Arena. She actually is one of the amazing cleaver in Arena, if not one of the best cleaves in Arena, is Iseria Tama. So let's talk, where can you use her? So I mentioned it before, but Raid, both hard and easy Raid, you can use her in. Abyss, she's used everyone Abyss. There's not a single stage in Abyss where you don't want to take Tama. Tama literally goes in every single Abyss stage. So if you haven't cleared Abyss, just get Tama, right? She's insane. She works in Asimach Hunt. I personally use mine in Asimach Hunt. I know some people don't, but I use mine in there. She also is one of the key units for Golem. So, and for Hall of Trials as well. She's insane for Hall of Trials. They have to nerf her in Hall of Trials because she was that good. So it's literally everything PvE she's on, except of course Wyvern, right? Wyvern and Banshee, you can't really use her there, right? You can, but she's not good, right? But some people still do because she's that great. As far as PvP, you can actually use her for PvP with Iseria. So we mentioned this starts on cooldown, but if you have an Iseria that can reset the cooldown on this skill, your Iseria can reset this cooldown. You go into idle form, you push your whole team by 50%, and you give attack buff. That's insane. And then you have an Isaiah setting up. So you can put up like a Watcher Shuri and a Surmia, which is, it's really common. Like, it's more common than you guys realize. Isaiah Tama is pretty insane for arena offense because Isaiah also is an archer, so you can give her something like Sasha Thanes. You basically do S3, push everyone up by 50%. Your Isaiah will be right there. Your Tama will be 50%. Your attack dealers will take their turn. You'll most likely kill with Surmia and with Watcher Shuri. You'll kill at least one of them. You'll kill two, right? Watcher Shuri will kill one. Surmia will kill another. And because you kill two, Sasha Thanes gives you the extra 40% boost. Tama will eventually get her turn again, like right there before they even take a turn. You AoE strip. And you attack with, again, with like your super high attack Surmia. So she's pretty nuts for PvP, right? If you have Isaiah, right? So, and how do you, so Isaiah, kind of a must pull. If you have an Isaiah, it's no brainer. You pull Tama. If you're an early game player, no brainer. You pull Tama. You have to pull Tamarine. If you're an early game player, she is nuts. She will carry you so hard through PvE content. That's how good she is. I'm telling you right now, she is so powerful. Must pull for sure. It's no debate, especially if you have Isaiah Tama. As far as how you build her with speed and with some effectiveness to make use of her strip. So like 70% effectiveness and as high speed as you can get her, or high speed with as much health as you can get her. For the ring and the neck, you do want to use flat health. Again, you want to use flat health for her. Why? Because she does have terrible base health stats. Her base stats are atrocious. But okay, now let's move on to Melissa. So this one will go faster because I did do a full guide on her. And I just suggest you look for that for the skills and the breakdown. It's just a lot cleaner than this video. But for the build, you can stick around a little bit longer. Base stats, I talked about it later before, but she has the second highest base attack, tied with Ludwig. And the only one that has higher is like Gunther, right? So she basically has the highest attack in the game, which is really nice. So really, really high base attack. The second highest in the game, paired with Ludwig. Her health is atrocious. I mean, it's a mage. Most mages have atrocious health. You're not using her for the health. Her speed is actually not that bad, right? So this is why, at first, I was skeptical about the speed build, but some people really push for it. I still don't recommend it, but you can give her a speed set to play her in cleave. And I did talk about that a little bit in the video because I still feel cleave teams work the best for her. Those Omega fast Melissas that are 260 speed just to counter Rylot, they're extremely hard to build and they're literally just there to counter Rylot, right? And I talked about that too. So I'll talk about it later, but also in this video. But the speed, nice. You know, it's pretty solid. And defense, again, it's nice. It's a mage. No crit rate help, so you are gonna have to get it by yourself. Her effectiveness, this is whatever, but this one's pretty nice. And this one is better than Tama's, and this one for herself is really good. Why? Because she has one of the highest base stats in the game, base attacks. So she can actually make use of this base attack, right? So let's go in. Let's look at these skills. So the S1, it's pretty basic. You're not going to be really using this skill. It hits really hard, right? So this skill actually hits really, 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 really freaking hard, right? So you go here, you smack them. Doesn't really do much. Applies unhealable for one turn. It's whatever. It's probably the worst part of her kit. I'm gonna do the S2, but just know that you use this after you S3. So the S2, super high single target damage. Not the craziest, like it's not like Rylot, but it's pretty good because of how high her base attack is. And gives her immortality when you use this skill. If you kill with this skill, it goes off. It stays off cooldown, which means you can have your Melissa be built extremely glass cannon and have her survive for at least one turn because you get immortality, if not 2 turns if you play your cards right, and you should be able to do it. You won't always get the S2 kill, but it's nice to know that if they have a very squishy team and you manage to get her through, you're not going to be using her for RTA, but you can if you do the speed build. But it's nice. She's amazing for Guild Wars and for Arena. But this skill too, it's also gorgeous, right? Like, I love this animation. The coffin and like the whole storyline behind the coffin is kind of cool now that we're getting to know what's going on with their coffin and with their skills. It took a whole year for them to do it, but you know, I'm not complaining. But yeah, pretty nice that it resets, but it's not the bread and butter of a kit. This is the reason why everyone likes Melissa that has it and uses her is because of this S3. So what does it do, right? So first off, animation is gorgeous. This animation is one of the best animations in the game. No lie. Y'all can tell that this animation looks amazing, right? Before I do it, let me show you guys something. So what does this skill do? First, it dispels all buffs before you hit the opponent. I don't think there's another unit that does this that I know of, right? Besides, like, there's not. Why is this so important? You're like, okay, why is that important? Why does that matter? Rylet. Melissa literally became a thing because Rylet is so prevalent. And it's still a thing because Rylet is so prevalent. So what does she do to stop Rylet? The fact that she dispels the buff before the attack means you can dispel Rylet's evasion buff before you hit him, which essentially makes it so you can hit Rylet and one-shot him. Good Melissas should be able to one-shot Rylet. Both builds. Not one-shot with the S3, but the S2, which we'll talk about in a second. The other part that makes Melissa actually really insane and really good for anti-Rylet, as well as other units in the game, right? She actually has a really good matchup against units like Ruel and units like Seaside Bellona, right? And I used to use her a lot. I just haven't put the gear back on her, and I hate Oxlots. But I used to use her a lot in Guild Wars. Like, she's so good for Guild Wars. Because she's able to apply a curse debuff, which we'll go over in a second what it does. It also gives her an extra turn that allows you to do an S2. You can hit water with this skill. You can hit anything, right? Because it ignores elemental disadvantage, right? So this is why I said it's good on Seaside. The other thing is if you soul burn it, it ignores effectiveness checks, which is why she is considered to be the best Rylet counter if you pull it off. Because you will 100% be stripping that buff if you soul burn. So again, the animation is really, really nice. Hits a single target, strips the buffs, right? Strips all buffs, attacks them, will land that curse debuff that you see right there. And you'll be able to do a lot with that. So what the curse debuff does is that whenever you hit, whether she hits or an ally hits, it will proc the curse damage. So if we see the S2, let's say I hit this other guy, it does damage based on the damage I did to him. You see there, boom, curse damage, right? It also will trigger if you hit the unit with curse, giving you insane single target damage potential, which is why she's actually good for Ruel. So as you see there, we hit the target, we do a bunch of damage with the S2, and the curse damage can finish it off. Again, she's amazing for killing so many different units, but Rylet being the main one, because even if you have a speed Melissa, you're able to come in, take off the buff from Rylet, apply the curse debuff, and if you have a speed one, you're not going to be doing as much damage, but because of the curse debuff, you can just attack with S2 and it's GG no re, right? So very, very cohesive kit. So where can you use her? So she doesn't really have a PvE presence, right? I'm not going to tell you she really works for PvE because she doesn't, right? You're forcing it if you're using her in PvE. She's just too squishy. She can't get used out of the S2. There's a lot of things that she's not a PvE unit, right? Which is fine. Where does she shine? Arena and in Guild Wars. So there's two builds, right? There's the one I don't recommend. I still don't recommend it, but some top players still use it, right? So that build is going to be the speed Melissa build. So they build Melissa 240 speed, right? The idea of this build is so she actually has some RTA presence. Or in Arena or Guild Wars, you're able to outspeed the Rylet and kill the Rylet turn 1. That's the idea behind the speed Melissa build, right? So it's like, it's a complete anti-Rylet counter. She does nothing else besides countering Rylet. That's literally all you'd be using her for, right? Which I think it's a dishonor because she's not just a Rylet counter. She's so much more than that, right? She does so much. Just watch the full guy. I know I keep saying it, but just watch it. Just watch it. I showcase all the stuff she can do. Where she really shines, I think, is as a damage dealer, right? So in a cleave team. So she is, for the most part, a cleave unit. And I think that's her real role. The speed Melissa feels like a very niche build for her. I don't like it. It's good if you really hate Rylet, but that's about all you're going to be doing. And it's insane stat requirements. And the majority of you guys that watch my videos won't be able to reach those stats. Like 230 speed plus while doing damage with crit, you're probably not going to be reaching those stats, right? So that's why it's not recommended, right? But the damage build, what I like about it, you can also give her some speed in the damage build, right? So in a cleave, let's say you do Athletica, Bazaar, Oxlots, whoever. If you put Melissa on there as one of your damage dealers, and you're able to give her attack buff, you can one-shot Rylet with this skill, and then do insane single target damage with the S2. This can also get rid of Arby's, right? So if you still struggle with Arby, you can use this to hit the Arby and kill him. If you're using her as a slow Melissa, which is the build I actually really like, right? So all damage Melissa, like 500 damage, 300 crit damage, just mad stats. She can actually kill Ruel's, Alencia's, she can kill Seasides, all these tanks. But also in Guild Wars, people still like to use the Charles FCC Seaside teams. And with this build, you can S3 the Seaside, apply the curse on her, and then go for an S2 on the Charles, and you will be able to kill the Charles and the C side both at the same time, which is amazing. It's just, she does so much, y'all. She's such a good cleaver. She's amazing for Guild Wars. She's amazing for Arena. I recommend doing attack set because her attack stat is very high. Or if you're trying to do her in a cleave that's like Athletica with CDOM, then I would recommend a speed set, right? So if you're trying to do her in a cleave with Athletica CDOM, put her on a speed set. So since she does have that high base speed, you can put her at like 112. She'll be able to cut to do her job as a damage dealer alongside CDOM and whoever else you decide to bring, whether it's a Angelica or whoever you want to bring. And on the other side, you have her as the speed build for anti-Rylet. That one's the only real viable strategy in RTA for her. So if you're really trying to use her in RTA, make her speed and go kill some Rylets, right? So that's her job. All right, that is all I have for you guys today. I thought this was going to be a quick video, but I got carried away talking about the units. And I enjoyed it, right? So again, for Melissa, if you want to hear more in depth, I made a 40-minute video about her. For Tama, the only reason I didn't sit around so much is because she's a must pull. Just pull for Tama, right? You guys probably just came here for Melissa. But that is all I have for you guys today, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.